Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
All right, gentlemen, we are off to week 3, and as you can see, man, it's getting cold up in the north. Everybody's sporting the hoodies tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that first initial shock.
That chill in the air.
Yeah, a bit of an Edgar Allan Poe chill in the air for our man Jared, who's back after getting hit in the head with a frying pan last Friday around 3:00 in the afternoon. Don't you know we're supposed to go to a surprise birthday party?
No, I don't write these things down. This is the challenges and compromises of marriage, you know.
Indeed, especially when you're first married. So let's well, you know, it might be cold outside, but one thing that wasn't cold was our picks last week. Unlike a lot of other folks, you know, as I mentioned from the get-go, we are going to hold ourselves accountable. You're not going to have to page through previous shows. You're not going to have to see our picks. We're going to put that all up, and there's actually a link right now with our history, with all of our picks. The only thing I got to add in is our preseason stuff. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. But let's go ahead and recap week 2, gentlemen. What do you think? Jared not here last week. Jared went 5. He had 4 wins and 5 losses. So he's a little underwater in terms of the winning percentage. But wise money management with the Jaguars and a late touchdown from the Dolphins saved the skin on Jared's behind. He comes home for a profit of $185. Golf clap, Shawn. All right.
We just need the sound to do that.
Yeah, I was going to look
up
the
implosion of the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes, indeed, for sure. And then our Swiss Army Shawn over here, he went 4-4, but Shawn with some crafty money management as well, getting all of his 2-unit plays home as winners. So he collected a cool profit of $233.56. A little bit stronger golf clap for Shawn. All right. And then finally, yours truly had a very good week. I went undefeated, 5 picks, 5 wins. I'm not as confident in these guys. I can't. I'm just 1 unit on everything. Hope it all works out. Get myself a little bit of a winning percentage. A little pat on the back. Yes.
So what's better than a golf clap? Golf clap.
A pat on the back, Shawn. So profit. $467.44. Not quite sure what you're going to do with that 44 cents, but all 3 of us kind of rebounding because we started week 1, the minus $591.73 as all of us were in the red. Tuesday, week 2, we're all in the green. Shawn's just a little bit behind break even, so I'm down $4.25. And right now, a $10 difference between myself and the good man, Jared, for the leader of the pack. But combined as a team last week, if you took all of our plays, played them as we mentioned, almost $1,000, guys. Way to go. What do you, is that a golf clap? What kind of clap is that?
Follow.
Indeed. So far, year to date, total team totals up $294.56. And if Shawn was not down as $5, it would be $3. So thanks, Shawn.
Well, I like the schedule this week, and I went a little aggressive. So it should be in the green. It should be way in the green by next week.
Oh, well, you're having you guys did go a little Motley Crue on me this weekend, a little on the wild side. When I saw your picks coming, I think Jared looked through like every pick, every prop. It's like, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Because I got a list like this long from Jared.
So did we get to every game between the 3 of us?
Pretty close, I think. Indeed. And I know Terry wants us to talk about the Broncos and the 49ers. We'll get to that because you guys, I think, both have.
I am on that game, so I'll talk about that.
And I don't have a play yet because you know how I roll. Sunday night, see how I do during the day, and if I have a play, I'll make it on Sunday night. But for Terry and all those 49er fans out there, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Hey, that was in cue right there. We didn't even practice that, Jared. I'll tell you what I'm thinking, and then we'll take it from there. All right, guys, you ready to? Well, before we move on to this week's picks, a couple of house cleaning items. If you wake up in the morning tomorrow and you want to do a little bit of tea and trifectas, Tom and we covered Newmarket. There's 5 pretty good stakes races there tomorrow, including one that's got like 30 horses in it. big odds. And then the next race after that's got like 15 horses in it, most of them which have never started. There's absolutely no information on it. So there's going to be some big tickets at Newmarket. And then, of course, later on in the day, our Swiss Army Shawn, he's going to be at Parks for the Pennsylvania Derby. If you haven't checked out our Players Edge podcast last night with TVG or FanDuels now, Rich Perloff, please make sure you do that here at Horse Racing Radar TV. You'll find out who we liked for the 3 major races on the day. And then finally, while we're doing professional football, our man, the professor, does Major League Baseball and college football. You can catch all of his picks in the link below. Make sure you do that. All right, guys.
And one other thing, while I'm at Parks tomorrow, for all the football fans, Brian Dawkins, the Hall of Fame safety, will be there too. So if anybody wants to go over to Parks and check that out, we'll be signing autographs.
So if you are in the Ben Salem neighborhood, head on over to Parks Racetrack. Say hello to Brian Dawkins. But forget Brian Dawkins. Go say hello to Shawn.
There you go. I'll sign autographs too, sure.
Yeah, and then I would have something to say, but I'll let that go. All right, so now we're going to move on to week 3. So let's go ahead and get started with our man, Jared, who, as I said, Jared and Shawn went on the wild side this week, my man. So they're going to start with this. Well, last night, of course, the Steelers and the Browns played. Jared had the Browns -4. They lost. They covered, for 1 unit. He had Najee Harris for 1 unit as a prop bet. So we got some prop bets this week. At least Jared does anyway. For anytime touchdown, he hit on that for +160. Rich, on the other hand, I went the over. Jared went the under. So Jared 1-1 plus the prop bet. So 2-1 for a little bit of profit. I'm on a 6-game winning streak. So I'm a little nervous about this week because the NFL 6 games in a row is kind of hard to do. 7's probably even harder. All right, Steelers and the Browns are over. So let's go with the Bills and the Dolphins. Both Jared and Shawn are on the Dolphins, getting 5.5 points, both with 1 unit for -107. That's the best line I can get for both of you. So tell me, fellas, why are you on the Dolphins? Are you suffering from some recency bias?
Well, the fish are back in the pond and they're home again this week. So I think that's an advantage for them personally. The Bills are coming off that extremely good win, but then again, they were playing Tennessee Titans, so they're just horrible this year so far. We haven't seen anything out of them, and you're going to have to cover Tyreek Hill and Mr. Jalen Waddle this week. And I think it's going to be a challenge for the Bills secondary. And the Bills secondary is banged up. They came out with a lot of some injuries from that Titans game. They were roughed up a bit. And I think it's going to be exposed this week. And I'm liking the Dolphins to expose that secondary a little bit. And I think the Bills are going to come crashing back to earth. And I like the Dolphins to win this game outright.
Shawn, your thoughts?
Yeah.
Or are you just going to agree? You're like, yes, I agree with
no,
him.
No,
We'll pick the same
one Buffalo is banged up. Micah Hyde's going to be out. Also, Ed Oliver, who holds everything up in the middle, is out. They have a couple other questionable people. I just think the spread's too big. I think this should be more like a 3.5 point game. I could see this being a field goal game. I could see it going back and forth, but then that over kind of got to that total where you say about it's at 53. So I just felt more confident that Jared might be right. Dolphins might win this game. But I know for sure it's going to be a close game, and 5.5 is too much. So I will take the 5.5 and cash a ticket that way.
Well, last week we talked about how I felt like week 2 is an opportunity for the NFL for players because there's overreactions. I think week 3 is when things about settle in, when we have a better sense of who teams are. And I noticed with every game against the spread, my Magic Excel couldn't pick one because all these lines are just about spot on. I have the Buffalo Bills winning this game and barely covering. So it doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong, but I have them covering by 0.5 point. So winning by 6. We'll see if that plays out or not. You went with the over in this game, Jared. You think they're going to be able to get over 53 points because you think both teams are going to put some
I think the running games are going to be – it's going to be tough to run the ball in the trenches, and I think this is going to be a passing attack kind of game, back and forth, a little bit, up and down, and I think, Miami's going to get the better of Buffalo this week. I like Tyreek Hill in this matchup. I think that he's going to be able to excel. Maybe not put up 190 like last week, but I could see 130, $130, $140, maybe 2 touchdowns. I could definitely see that this weekend.
All right. So go ahead, Shawn.
I will say too, props to you on this too. You called it before the year. Now it's only 2 weeks in, but so far, I mean, with Waddle and Hill, they are lighting it up. They're the best combo in the league. So, and you hinted at that in the beginning of the year before the year started. So
yeah, I think just Tyreek Hill changes everything. I mean, it just makes everybody open because you have to account for him running 70 yards down the field.
The stat I heard earlier
for everybody.
The only two people in the league that has over 200 yards receiving so far are both on the Dolphins. So
yeah, and they both did it in 1 week. They both did it in 1 week last week.
Game temperature is supposed to be 92 degrees for this game. How well does Bills defense hold up with that kind of heat?
I don't think it makes a difference in September. If it were December, I think it makes a difference. But everybody's still in the north acclimated to summer weather. I don't think it's that big of a difference this time of year. It would have been if this game was in December, I think. Then for sure, you're not used to it. Bengals in the Jets. Benny, Jared and the Jets. No, Jared's a Giants fan. And it's going to be Shawn and the Jets. Shawn's all over the Jets bandwagon, coming off a win last week against the Browns. He's got the Homer-itis right now. Taking the Jets and 6.5 points, not for 1, but for 2 units. The guy runs from him, and now he's all over the Jets.
Yeah, and this has nothing to do with being a Jets fan. This is actually more against the Bengals. Sure. They just cannot protect Burrow to save their life. And then also, the Jets do have their starting cornerbacks have been holding up really well. They're talented.
On the
rookie
bandwagon. There you go.
No. I said cornerbacks.
The
Bengals.
Don't smoke the wrong tree now.
The Bengals, they have their receivers, and that's what they want to do. I think the Jets can hold their own against that. And I think 6.5 is too many points. Jets may win this game, but I'm not even worried about that. I think 6.5 is too much. The Bengals. The whole Super Bowl hangover thing is real because they are really struggling right now. And then, they reshifted that offensive line to protect Burrow, and they actually did worse. And this guy is he's going to set another record for being sacked.
Could well be. I don't think Burrow's worse. I think the line is worse. But he's been
the line's
he's been under pressure. That's definitely been a big negative for him as well. Jared, you and I in this game, we agree. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but we're both on the over in the Bengals and the Jets game. I have this game coming in considerably over with the Bengals and the Jets. I have them combining for over 50 points, and the total's 44.5, 45.5.
I think we're going to blow that out of the water. I think we're going to have a
sorry, Jared, this number is supposed to be 44.5. My apologies. I'm making you play 1 point more than you need to.
I think we're going to go way over that. I think we're going to have a 51-point explosion in this game. I can see the Bengals scoring 31. I think this is a
Burrow coming out
redemption game, quote unquote. I don't think the Bengals are going to go 0-3. I think the Jets are what the doctor ordered for the Bengals is just what they need. I think Jamar Chase gets on track, and I think Higgins gets on track in this game, and I think Jamar Chase just torches this Jets secondary. I really do.
Shawn says that ain't going to happen.
But, the Jets starting cornerbacks are part of their strength on the defense. So, Bengals are going to have to do it from the outside.
I think putting Jets in defense together in one word to a team that gave up 30 points to the Cleveland Browns, no.
Okay.
There's
I'm just telling you.
They don't play defense there, Shawn.
Run Mixon through the middle. They run Mixon. They're going to mix up the run and the pass. Run Mixon through the middle. They'll gash the Jets through the middle, and then they'll expose them through the air. This is a perfect setup for the Bengals to win this week.
Yes, the Bengals. The Jets just do not have the pass rush that the Cowboys have or the Steelers have. It's going to be Burrow's going to have time. His guys are going to get open. I think there's going to be points in this game. Otherwise, I wouldn't go the over. I'm expecting a lot of point. I
could be wrong, Shawn, but I just don't see it.
I don't disagree that the Bengals might win this game, but it may be that real big struggle to get the monkey off the Bengals' back, and they're just going to escape and get that win.
Wishful thinking. All right, Saints and the Panthers, the two teams that are absolutely struggling to find the end zone. The Saints, Jameis Winston throwing a couple of interceptions last week. I think I said the Saints would goad him into at least 2. They goaded him into, the Buccaneers, they goaded him into 3, including 1 that went for, I should have did a prop bet. Jameis Winston to throw a pick 6. You probably would have got paid on that. In this game, the only person with any action on this game is our man, Jared, who I think has action on every game. Jared is really gone
This
out
is
of
the
his mind
safest-
this week.
This is the safest play. This is the safest play this week for me. I mean, it's
So you put 1 unit on it.
I put 1 unit, but this is 2 anemic offenses as we've seen for the first 2 weeks. They cannot move the ball. They are not utilizing McCaffrey properly in that offense. I don't know what's going on in Carolina. And the Saints, you would think that they'd be putting up an explosion of points. It's not happening. And
Did I not say Jameis Winston is the quarterback?
yeah, Jameis Winston is injured. What is he, broken bones in his back or something lately? I mean,
Yeah.
he's just
No,
I don't know what
it's his
we're gonna get
eyesight
to.
yet.
What?
It's his eyesight yet.
Well, he got that fixed. He got the LASIK
I don't know
to
what
get the
you're gonna
color
get. I
blindness
mean,
out.
maybe this is a coming out party for Kim McCaffrey, but I doubt it. Not against.
No, that Saints defense is definitely solid against the run.
I mean,
so it's his play of the day, and he's got 1 unit on it.
It's a safe.
I
play.
love that
Play of the
Jared
day.
logic, baby. What about you, Sean? I love this game. It's my play. It's my safest play of the day. I got 17
we missed
on
this
another game. This one gets 1.
We missed this last week where we didn't understand. Rich and I knew how the units work. You go the other way. I think you think it's 1 is the highest.
No, he rolls a dice. Right? All right, this one gets 1 unit. This one gets 2. All right. And you don't have any other thought? I think this game is likely to go under 2, Sean. As I look at this game between New Orleans and I actually have it kind of slightly going over projected points at 44, but not big enough for me. I lean the Saints to cover and win this game. I'm not going to bet this game, obviously. I have over here my entire worksheet so you can see what my Magic Excel has to say. So that is, again, in the link below. So you can look at every single game, tells you who's going to win, I think, at least Magic Excel. According to the formulas I have, I won't share the formulas because that's the Big Mac sauce, Coca-Cola ingredients, but I will share the results. So there you go. That's it for the Saints and the Panthers. Any final thoughts on the marquee game of the weekend?
I was just nervous about that one just because of Carolina's defense, but I understand the Panthers aren't going to do much against the Saints defense. So if I had to go one way, I'd probably go the under, but I didn't want to touch that with the Panthers defense because Saints will probably put up points.
All right, so we go off to Sean's, I don't know what you want to call it, but I don't know what the right word is, but maybe he lost consciousness for a moment. The Chiefs in 5. This is going to make or break. I mean, this is going to make or break your week. He went maximum units.
I went all in.
Yes, he went all in, baby. See, this is his play of the day, Jared. This is how you do your plays of the day. You put 5 units on it, not 1. Go ahead, Sean. Why are you so confident?
So it's funny because I'm really confident, but I see all these people picking the Colts, and I'm like, I don't know what they've been watching so far this year. I wasn't the highest on the Chiefs. I thought they might struggle a little bit with Hill. They are not struggling at all. The Colts couldn't even score any points against Jacksonville's defense. And I know this is a week-to-week thing and stuff like that. I see no way the Colts keep this within a touchdown. When they get Michael Pittman back, who they didn't have last week, what other difference is there? Matt Ryan's giving the ball to the defense. Chiefs aren't always the greatest defense, but they will get turnovers. I just don't see how this game's even close. And I would even look at this as an alternate line.
Okay, last week we talked about the square sucker bet. Sean was on the wrong side of the square sucker bet last week.
I was, but I don't know how this
again looks to me like the square sucker bet because the logic is they just got beat by Jacksonville. They got shut out by Jacksonville. They couldn't score. Nothing's going right. This is one of the worst teams in the NFL. Certainly 2 weeks in, the biggest disappointment in the NFL. Yet that line opened up, I think, at -7, and it's down to -5.5.
Right. So I'm going to make your head hurt by saying this, but this is the square sucker bet for the square sucker bet. Everybody looks at it as the square sucker bet, so they're just automatically putting it on the Colts. And I don't see it at all. I would look at an alternate line and look for the Chiefs minus 19.5 because they probably win this game by 3 touchdowns.
Woo, Sean getting out of his mind here. All right. So according to Magic XL, Sean, you're going to be sweating it, my friend. The Chiefs are probably going to win, but it says the Colts cover.
I think the Colts will cover.
It says it's a field goal game,
yeah.
Sean.
It was 5.5.
I hope for you. I hope for you. It's more than a field goal game.
Where are the Colts going to get these points? I mean, you think so? Do you think the Colts are going to score?
I did defense.
I would advise you to Google something called recency bias, Sean.
No, but I'm just saying, where are the Colts going to score, or where are the Colts going to stop the Chiefs? They got to do one or the other here.
I just got a feeling this is one of those trap games. I'm even going into it, but I still think the Chiefs are going to win this game, and it's going to hit the over. But I think I'm just barely going to hit this over. That's why I'm going with 2 units on this. I'm not going to go 5 like you, but I can understand your logic.
Wait a minute. Let me just rewind. This is my safest play. It gets 1 unit. This game's going to barely go over, so it gets 2 units.
He's still recovering, Rich. He's still recovering.
Is that hat too tight?
No. I got to be really, really super like stoked for a game for me to go 5. Maybe at some point I'll do it, but not this game.
All right.
Not this game. I still think the Chiefs are going to score some points on the defensive side of the ball somehow, some way. And I think that it's a little bit closer than it should be. And maybe it's a field goal, maybe it's an unexpected pick 6. But I know I think we get the over, but we just barely get this over.
Well, I think you're right about barely, because as I look at my Magic Excel sheet, again, the predicted score is 50 points that the 2 teams combined for. The over-under is 50.5. So you're going to be sweating it just like I was last night, just begging for that field goal at the game. Yeah. Shawn and I were wrapping up the Horse Center. And then, of course, we got it. Shawn lost all the blood in his face. I was happy, thankfully, but it's the way it works.
And I lost on that one little bad beat. So
it's not a bad beat when a guy misses a field goal. All right, Jaguars and Chargers. This is the battle between Jared and Rich, because Jared is going to play the under. Rich is going to play the over. One of us has to win, and Shawn's going to probably warn you that if I'm on one side and you're on the other side, you might think about canceling that bet.
Well, especially I don't know, because you're coming off that 5-0 week. So you just said
I'm 6-0 right now, too.
Yeah.
And I was squared up against you last night. So far this year, I'm 3-0 when we all disagree.
Before you guys argue either way, that line itself went from the Jaguars being an underdog by 7 to 3, because there's some concerns about Justin Herbert playing.
Yeah,
so you do have that.
He's been practicing, so he's going to play. I don't think you're practicing. You don't play. He's got to be very careful, because remember, this is the same medical staff that when what's his name again?
Tyrod Taylor,
Taylor had a rib injury. They punctured his lung, so he might think about getting his own doctor.
Yeah, he just sued them too for that.
That's
it would behoove this Chargers team to put Herbert on the bench this week and rest that guy, because I think if he plays in this game, he's going to be setting himself up for a major injury. This Jacksonville defense is no joke. They come to play. They play hard. They play fast. This is going to be a real challenge for this Chargers team. This is going to be a defensive battle in the trenches. This is going to be. You should definitely go under in this game. I'm going under in this game. Big time.
So you went from definitely over to definitely under.
I slipped the tongue.
From one sentence, from one breath
to the next. I slipped the tongue. I had the under.
So I talked up the Jets defense, and now Jared's talking up the Jacksonville defense. What is wrong with this world?
What is wrong with you guys? I mean, forget the world.
I also told you the Giants were going to upset on the road in week 1, and you didn't believe me. So.
Kansas and Duke play tomorrow in football, 3-0 both. So the world's a little upside down right now.
Indeed, it is. So as I look at this game here, the Jaguars and the Chargers, where are you guys at? Here you are. I have this game. They have it at 42.5. Let me tell you something. I know the line's moved on the Jaguars. I hope it continues to move on the Jaguars, because this is the game that I feel is the closest to one that on the money against the spread. If that comes down another 0.5 point, so instead of being 3.5 right now, Shawn? Is that right? No, yeah,
it's 3.5.
3.5. If I can get the Chargers -3, I'm going to take the Chargers. But right now, the best I can find before we got started was 3.5. Come Sunday, if that line continues moving down and the Chargers are 3 under the as long as Herbert's playing, then I'd probably still think about taking them.
On DraftKings, it is.
I believe it's a game time decision. I think it's a game time decision. So.
Well, I have this game going considerably over. I have it in the 50s as a final score. So Jared and I are on the opposite sides of this game. One of us is going to be a winner. One of us is going to be a loser. That's all right. So that's where we're at on that one. All right. Next game, the Rams and the Cardinals. All right. What do you guys think? Did the guy hit him, Kyler Murray, in the face on purpose, or was it an accident?
I don't think it was on purpose.
Yeah, to me, it looked like he maybe tried to high five him or something and just whacked him in the face. I think now that I would have to expect, based upon Kyler Murray's, I forgive the guy if I see him, I'll shake his hand commentary. There was some backdoor communication there, and the guy probably said, "Man, I'm sorry. I was just trying to get a piece of you, my brother, and I just hit you in the face. So I apologize for that." It did look to me like it was something along those lines. Yeah. You guys again are in agreement, Shawn. The two wild guys are on the same side of this game. They're going to take the Cardinals, maybe suffering from a little recency bias. That late touchdown from the Arizona Cardinals influenced them, because Lord knows if they had lost that game, neither one of them would be on the Cardinals today. So why are you on the Cardinals anyway?
Well, I'm on the Cardinals. I think they did find something at the end of the game offensively. Their offense needs to get it in there. They're usually pretty explosive. They've been struggling a little bit up till those last couple minutes on that Sunday game. I will also say the Rams just have not impressed me so far this year. I mean, they struggled a little bit last week too. So I feel like this is a field goal game.
Points, right? 27 points to the Falcons, right?
Right.
Yeah, but one of them was a blocked punt for a touchdown. So
that was a great special teams play.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him props for that.
Again, I think this could be a field goal game either way. So getting that hook there, I feel confident that the Cardinals may win this game, but I feel confident with the hook there that if they do lose, they lose by a field goal.
Yeah, the Cardinals usually play the Rams pretty tough. For me in this spot, in terms, what do you like them, Jared?
You got Kyler Murray is your X factor. You got a mobile quarterback who can get out of the pocket, who can make plays on his feet, who can read the defenses. I haven't seen anything out of this Rams defense that's looked overall impressive. And you have Tyler Higbee leading this team in receptions, not the Super Bowl MVP in Cooper Kupp. What has happened to Cooper Kupp? They're not utilizing him in the passing game very well. I haven't seen it. And the running game is putrid. Akers is not being utilized. I don't see Akers doing anything in this game. I wouldn't even bet him for a touchdown, even in a prop bet this week. So,
and Jared has bet everything else.
Well,
so
Jared, you might want to check those Cooper Kupp statistics here.
What has Cooper Kupp got so far in the season?
He's got 24 catches, 236 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns. And Higbee has 2. Tyler Higbee has 2, I believe.
Yeah, well, I think the problem is maybe Stafford doesn't have the chemistry with Allen Robinson yet. And when he does, and when Van Jefferson comes back, that offense opens up. I know they said that Van Jefferson's probably out this week, so we'll see what happens in that respect. I have the Cardinals covering in here. That's what Magic XL says. Not enough for me to make that play there. You're double dipping, which is Shawn knows, is a cardinal sin. For me anyway, because I hate to win one side and then just have it washed out on the other side. But Jared, he's not afraid of anything because he is a wild man. He was off for a week and he's like, I'm going to put as much black type as I can on the show this week. So you're going to go in this game under. Yeah. You just talked about the explosive Arizona offense and the unexplosive Cooper Kupp, where Shawn kind of said, well, maybe, I don't know.
No, I still think the Rams will score. But they'll probably win this game, but I still see the under happening here. I still see a marginal game. I don't see a big line of defeat. So,
all right. So in this particular spot, I have these two teams combining for a whopping 52 points. So I think the game is going to go slightly over on you, Jared. I hope you're wrong. I hope I'm wrong because I don't have any action in this game, but I'm fearful.
I don't see more than 39 points, to be honest with you, in this game. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I feel pretty good about that 39 number.
For our friend Terry, we're going to put the 49ers and the Broncos last. Instead, we're going to skip forward to, who can believe it, the most prolific offense in the NFL, at least through 2 weeks, the Detroit Lions. And Shawn is all over that prolific offense. He's not quite as confident in Jared Goff as he is Mahomes, but 3 units on the Lions, catching 6 points on the road against the division rival. Kirk Cousins can make Justin Jefferson look bad. Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of explosive, we got to put Detroit offense in that category now. They've scored 30, going back to last year, they've scored 35 or more points in 3 straight games. So 6 points, again, is way too much. I would also look at Detroit, put a small amount on them winning this game. But 6 points is way too much, and I'm confident on that. Cousins, they're coming off that ugly Monday night game, so they had a short week to get back. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. But I just think Detroit's going to move the ball up and down on Minnesota and keep this game close and possibly win it at the end.
I think Minnesota is a different team on home than they are on the road. That scares
Yeah.
me a little bit.
In the dome.
Yes, it's scary. Well, I mean, if they played the Vikings, if they played the Lions in Detroit, they'd still be in a dome. But they just seem to be two different teams, one on the road and one on. They're meek on the road and
What did I say?
beast at home. I actually have Minnesota covering this game by a half of a point. So it's gonna. I think 6 is the right number, Shawn. You're going to be really sweating it at the end.
I think Detroit maybe kicks a field goal at the last second here and wins this game. I think they're real players here to win this game. And didn't you pick them? This is another nice. I mean, who knows? It's a long year, but this team is going to be competitive. This team is going to be competitive in the division.
Yeah, I picked them to win the division, Shawn, for sure. Because then
it's a long year.
They got screwed in the opening week against Philadelphia with a bad call because they called a penalty against Detroit. It should have been on Jared Hurd, they said.
Yeah, and if you want to go the Rich Perloff angle and the angle I do sometimes, and I didn't actually even think of this before doing this, but the Lions did play the Eagles and lost 38-35. That game was in Detroit, but Minnesota went to Philadelphia, lost 24-7. So if you want to go that route too.
All the more reason that this is that the Minnesota Vikings are going to come to play this week and win this game outright.
When the pressure's on Kirk Cousins, he does not answer the bell. So
maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, Shawn, but I don't see it. I'll give you props if Lions pull this one off because I don't see it.
All right. Packers and the Bucks. Shawn and I now are on opposite sides. Shawn is convinced that the Packers suck, and that's why he's on the under, I'm guessing. And he probably doesn't think that they'll be able to put much up against the Buccaneers defense. And then he's going to talk something about weapons, the lack of weapons that Brady has because Evans is out. A lot of the wide receivers are injured. So there you go. There, I just made Shawn's case why the game goes under.
Yeah, this game's going to be all about the Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Brady and Rodgers. But this year they do not have the weapons. And then Brady's best weapon is out due to suspension, Mike Evans.
And I tell you, he was going to use more weapons a couple times.
Yeah, the under 42. Tampa's defense has been great. I mean, they haven't been giving up anything. Packers defense is the strength of the team at this point, too.
Well, let's kind of rewind a little bit there. Tampa Bay has played the Cowboys, which aren't the most prolific offense right now. And then they also beat Tampa Bay opening, and they also beat New Orleans, who's not been a prolific offense, who struggled to score against Atlanta. So I'm not so sure that the defensive numbers reflect a good defense so much as they reflect struggling offenses.
Well, but the Saints scored how many points in week 1? I know it wasn't. They were like 28 or something like that. Dallas scored how many points last week? And I know it was against the Bengals, but Tampa's shutting them completely down. So I really think the hype's going to be the quarterbacks. It's going to be all about the defenses Sunday afternoon.
This is a game I don't want no part of.
Well, you don't have a part of it, so your wish is granted, my friend. I'm going to go ahead and take the over in this game, Shawn. I have them going considerably over. I think both quarterbacks are going to be able to create some points. And I do think that Aaron Rodgers is probably starting to get a little bit of timing with his receivers. Lazard is back. So I think you're going to see the Packers offense be a little more open than it's been so far through the first 2 weeks. But I also agree with you that the defenses are going to make plays too. I can see a couple short fields in this game. I can see one defensive touchdown. And I have a rule, basically, or not a rule, but a kind of a theory that if a team scores a defensive touchdown, those games usually go over. I'm expecting at least one defensive touchdown in this game, if not more. So that's why I'm on the over, Shawn. I gave you, there's 2 lines out there. So I gave you under 42, and there's another under 42, and there's over 41.5. So
is that the alternate line?
Well, I gave us both. What I do is I look through the sports book review and give us all the best line that we can get for the numbers that we have. We learned that from Bill Krakenberg.
So if it ends at 42, I draw and you win. So I guess that's the best case scenario.
Right. That is the best case scenario. Okay, one last game before we get over to the 49ers and the Broncos, the Eagles and the Commanders. I am the only one that's doing anything on this game. I think this game. This is going to be a high-scoring game, in my opinion. I think both teams have shown that they can move the ball up and down the field. It is a revenge game for one Carson Wentz, so he's either going to be incredible or horrible. I don't expect there to be a middle ground. If he's incredible, the Commanders score a lot of points. If he's horrible, he gets picked sixth at least once or twice, which equals a lot of points for the Eagles. I also think that Jalen Hurts is going to be kind of hard to contain. He's been hard to contain all year. So the Eagles are going to put up some new points. Him and A.J. Smith have put together a pretty good combination. So I think you're going to see a lot of points in this game. 47.5 is on the higher end from what I'm usually comfortable with, but I have them coming in well into the 50s. So I have 4 overs on this week, and then nobody else has anything else.
I have a prop bet in this game. That's my play on this game. That's the only play that I have that I think makes logical sense. You look at the last 2 weeks, Eagles are giving up weeks 1 and 2, an average of 6.7 runs a carry. And the Washington Redskins, or I still call them Commanders, are giving up 7.6. I think they're going to be able to run the ball Philadelphia effectively. And I see no problem with Miles Sanders getting the 63.5 rushing yards in this game. I don't think it's going to be a problem whatsoever. He may even have it by the second quarter. So I'm going Miles Sanders over 63.5 rushing yards for 2 units this week.
By the second quarter, that's pretty bold.
I'll
say I can say is his hamstring is the one thing that can stop him from going over. Because that man's got a hammy problem all the time.
No,
I'll lean heavily on the over here. I looked at that over a lot. Just a little concerned about Wentz. I would almost think you might want to go with Eagles TD defensively because Wentz has been turning the ball over, and who's I know him better than anybody but the Eagles. So there may be a
kind of like that
touchdown
Tampa Bay Jameis Winston thing last week, right?
Yeah.
So to me, I have a hard enough time just trying to figure out what's going to happen in the game in general. Never mind some of the internal workings. So I hope Miles Sanders goes for 63.5 by the second quarter so that Jared looks like a prophet. He also has Josh Jacobs running for over 61.5 yards for the Raiders. And why do you see that happening?
Show me a Titans defense that's going to stop the run this year. I haven't been able to do it yet, and I don't see anything changing. And I definitely don't see that team to be able to go vertical through the air. This is a redemption game for Las Vegas, and I think that they should have no problem running the ball against the Titans. The Bills had no problem, and my Giants certainly didn't have a problem running in week 1 against this team. So give me Josh Jacobs on the over for 61.5 rushing yards.
All right, so Jared's got 467 bets this week. He's either going to make you a rich man or woman, or a poor man or woman by the time the week is over.
Rich, you are horse racing, and I am the NFL.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me show you something, Jared. All right, so
we got to clip that. Jared's the NFL.
Year-to-date totals. Rich is up 150.
All right, it's still early.
Jared's up 140. But you're talking. We're in real time, my friend. I'm not worried about. I'm worried about where we are right now.
All right, right now.
You know who's the champ? I'm the champ. Okay, I got the belts, baby. So go back to your corner, take a standing 8. You just got knocked the Friday out. All right, there we go. All right,
and he's quiet too, so it worked.
And that's hard to do. That's really hard to do. All right, the last game of the night is the Sunday night. It's a Sunday night game, right? The 49ers and the Broncos, the return.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Of not the return, but the much maligned Sean's MVP pick done already in Russell Wilson. And the 49ers are on the road against Russell Wilson. The Broncos offense have struggled under Russell Wilson so far. 49ers defense has been solid as a rock. Sean's taking the 49ers. He's putting 2 units on that game. Jared thinks the game is going to go under. So you guys talk about why you think you tell us why you guys think what you think, and I'll tell you the only smart bet in this game.
Okay, well, I'll start. I would never make this bet if Trey Lance was still quarterback. Well, with Jimmy Garoppolo in there, I mean, you could see last week that offense completely turned around as soon as he came in there. So they got their offense going a little bit last week with Garoppolo. Denver's still trying to find it, and Denver's going to find it one of these weeks. It's not going to be this week against San Fran, though. Still looking for it. So San Fran, that line's easy, basically just have to win.
You got a lot of, you're just jinxing yourself right and left this week, man.
Yeah,
easy words. I can't see it going any other way. I'm confident. I stay away from that sort of talk.
I know. I'll either replay it and be like, "Oh, that was great," or I'm going to be crying Sunday afternoon. I think I called the score last week with the Pittsburgh New England game of 17-14. So you get moments and then you get really bad moments. That's why everything's live. Everything's traceable.
Jared's he's with you. He says that the 49ers at minus 115 in money line, which in my opinion, Jared, is a dumb bet. Because I think you're on the wrong side of this, and not because the 49ers can't win this game, because it's a 50-50 game. Really, that's what the numbers say. That's what Vegas is telling you. That's what the line is telling you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Magic Excel sheet says. So either team can win this game. It is a 50-50 game. So just from a pure math standpoint, the only bet that makes any sense is to take the Broncos money line, because it's a 50-50 game. And the Broncos are getting a plus money line. So you're getting 53 cents of value for something that only costs 50 cents. So you're actually getting value taking the Broncos. You're overpaying for the 49ers, but that doesn't mean the 49ers won't win. It's just a sheer math for me.
Okay. Well, I mean, you might be right, Rich, but this Broncos.
Oh, I'm right. It just does the game work out that way? Right, because Vegas is telling you it's a 50-50 line, right?
I would be in total agreement if we were talking about Trey Lance here, but then you wouldn't be getting the value you would be getting on the Broncos. You'll be getting less value on the Broncos. I mean, most likely with Trey Lance there. But now you get Jimmy G, and Jimmy G is a proven commodity, and any sports bettor out there knows that. So I just look at it as it's simple. You're right about the math, probably.
No, 100%. I'm right about the math. There's no question the math is right. Vegas is telling you that this is a 50-50 game. And they're telling you it's a 50-50 game because...
But they're also telling you the 49ers are the better team, because if you reverse this, if this is a neutral field, the 49ers are favored by 4.5.
But they're not playing on a neutral. I
understand
live in a world of ifs.
But
if my sister
you
had different hardware, she'd be my brother. If is a big word. It's the biggest word in the day. Where they're playing in Denver.
They're telling you San Fran's the better team in this matchup. They're telling you that if San Fran was at home, they'd be a touchdown favorite.
But they're not at home.
I understand that, but if I'm doing a 50-50 bet, I'm taking the better team. That's what I'm doing. So the better team in this case is the 49ers.
Teams who tend to struggle late and mile high. So we'll see if the 49ers may not be in the best of shape week 3. The smart bet from a math standpoint on a 50-50 game. Because when I look at my Excel sheet, it says that this game is literally a tie according to the math system that I use, which has worked. So it's a 50-50 game. If you're going to take any side, just from a math standpoint, you got to take the Broncos and the plus line for the money line. And if come Sunday afternoon, if I go 2-2 because I got the
you don't have Broncos this week.
I don't, because I never bet the Sunday night game before we get to Sunday night.
Oh,
because I don't like to chase if I'm behind, right? And then keep your losses to a minimum. But if I'm ahead, or if I'm 50-50 because I have the Browns and the Steelers in my pocket right now. So if I go 2-2 on Sunday afternoon in my overs, I will be on the Broncos money line come Sunday night football. And we'll put that all out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can see right below down there. It's a horse race today. I know that doesn't fit in for an NFL show, but that's the way it goes around here. Any final thoughts, gentlemen, before we cash out?
Make your money tomorrow for Sunday. Look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Indeed. Again,
tomorrow, win on the ponies tomorrow so you can have more money for the NFL on Sunday.
And if you're at Parks, make sure you say hello to Shawn tomorrow.
Wait, isn't Tavia running tomorrow?
Tavia is running tomorrow against Cyberknife. Yeah, it's a pretty good race, that Pennsylvania Derby. Real good race.
There's 13 races tomorrow.
2-1.
5-2 morning line.
What? 5-2?
5-2 morning line.
We won't get that by the time the race goes on.
Probably not. It'd probably be 2-1, 9-5, somewhere in that range. Any final thoughts, gentlemen, before we check out of here and look forward to week number 3 in the NFL?
Well, that's just it. I'm excited. Week 3, like you said, after the first couple of weeks, you never know what kind of expect. Now you're going to start seeing what teams are. So some big games too. I mean, that Miami-Buffalo game should be much watch TV. I think the Green Bay-Tampa game is going to be sold as much watch TV. It's not going to be that pretty of football when you watch it. So I would, if I had one game to watch Sunday, it's Miami.
So kind of like this show.
I'm getting ready for Monday Night Football too.
Yes, the Cowboys and the New York Football Giants. My Dallas Cowboys. Unfortunately, we had a guest this weekend who wasn't a big Cowboys fan. But I had my Cowboys gear. I represented, but I'm not one of those boys. All right, guys, that wraps it up for tonight. No matter what you're doing this weekend, again, tomorrow morning, head on over to horseracingtoday.net or here on Horse Racing Radar TV. If you want to wake up with a little bit of tea and trifectas, Tom and I went over the big races at Newmarket, a lot of stakes races over there, worthy of some attention because deep fields, high odds, great payouts, like Jared says. Hit a couple of those and you'll have your bankroll fattened up for college football with the picks with the professor. And then come Sunday for the wild guys over here, Shawn and Jared, looking to cash in big in week number 3.
I think me and Shawn can do it.
Hey, there's no question you can do it. Let's get it done, guys. All right, until we catch up again, we hope that no matter what you do, it ends up in the
End zone.
Winner circle.
end zone. Yeah, end zone. Yeah, somewhere along there. All right, guys, have a great night. Thanks for joining us.
Boys.